All right, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today I am showing off a quick little video on a kill team board that I've been working on. Alternatively, you could use this for Warhammer 40,000 or obviously Necromunda as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. Pretty much anything Games Workshop from Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, Kill Team, a little bit of Age of Sigmar and Warcry as well. Reactions, reviews, all kinds of custom tutorials, painting videos, magnetization, lighting, pretty much anything you could think of. Obviously do a little bit of 3D printing as well, and that's what we got going on here today. So I did a just like a little review preview of the Necromunda gang stronghold and how I thought that you could use that kit as a great basis for a custom kill team board. And that's essentially what we got going on here. So I expanded on it a little bit. I got the basis of one of those boards and a few of the regular pillars as well from the Necromunda Dark Uprising set, or just Necromunda's own Mortalis expansion kits now that that Uprising set is gone. So essentially just took what I had there, expanded on a little bit, made some slight modifications. In this case, I have a symmetrical kill team board. I know a lot of people have been about the asymmetrical boards and kind of like toying back and forth with them. Alternatively, you could build it that way, but I really like how this one came out. I like the idea of the symmetrical one. And obviously the books present quite a few of the asymmetrical boards, so I figured I would go ahead and build this one symmetrical. So I have not gone ahead and glued anything yet, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be the final version here. So if you've been following the hobby for a while, or even if you're new and you've looked into some of the Necromunda stuff, you will know that the Zone Mortalis floor tiles, something that people have waited a long time for, basically came out about 2 years ago now and almost immediately sold out. They came back into like the stores a couple times real quickly, but have been completely gone since then and nearly impossible to get. Been going for like ridiculous prices. 4 of the 12-inch by 12-inch tiles going for anywhere from the initial retail price was like 60 USD, and I see them consistently selling for, or at least listed for, like $200 for 4 of them. So about 50 bucks a tile, which is just out of control. I mean, it's just a little too ridiculous. So I found some 3D print versions essentially. Right away, there was a couple of different ones out there, but over time, I have found these ones. Don't mind the gold filament. I just got a good price on it a while back. Obviously, I'll be painting these at some point in time, but essentially went ahead and slightly modified the file. I can't post it up specifically in here because I don't want to get it shut down or anything like that. So it's real easy to find though. You can search for it on Thingiverse, and I'm sure you won't have any problem finding it. Obviously Zone Mortalis or like Necromunda floor tiles, something like that. So the key factor for this setup though is that there's actually like textured bits built into it, so the terrain itself kind of clicks into place the same way it would with the initial set. So that's the big difference with this one. The most important thing being that essentially 4 of these little tiles, which are 6-inch by 6-inch, when put together in a square, form like a 12-inch by 12-inch tile. But in this case, essentially I would end up with a 30-inch by 24-inch board if I just took 20 of these tiles and put them next to each other. And the kill team board is actually 30 inches by 22-inch instead of 24-inch. So I went ahead and just trimmed an inch off of each side digitally, like sliced it off the STL. So I have basically 10 of the regular tiles that are 6-inch by 6-inch, and then I have 10 of the modified tiles, which are 6-inch by 5-inch. But rather than like altering the dimensions of the tile itself, I just cut an inch off of each end. That way, essentially, it doesn't have like an overhang of the kill team board. And then I went ahead and I've built a couple of these tiles already. Basically just gluing them onto cardboard, 12 by 12 squares that are like interchangeable and you could use for your actual boards. But in this case, so it's basically the exact same thing as if you bought the Zone Mortalis floor tiles. But in this case, I actually have like a kill team foldable like game board that is in rough shape. I've used it quite a bit and like spilled things on it and gotten glue on it and just all kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue down these 20 tiles to that board and then paint that board up and everything, and then go ahead and just attach onto it and just build like a fixed board basically. So normally I try to keep things as interchangeable as possible, do quite a bit of magnetizing and all that good stuff. But in this case, I'm just going to build I think primarily fixed board, if not completely fixed board. So, but essentially just to kind of show off here, this is the most important aspect of it, is obviously these things are fixed onto here. And now this is just press fit now. It's not actually glued or anything like that. But you can pull it off and it really clicks into here. So, I mean, this is not coming off here. And you can see the little ridges. They like stick up just far enough, the same way that they did on the original tiles. And don't mind like the leftover little bits of filament or anything. I just never clean them off. But that's like our piece completely like clipped on there basically. So the idea being that these little pieces basically allow you to attach these exactly where they're supposed to be. And then you could either interchange them, or in this case, I'm going to end up like gluing them, add in like a little bit of maybe it's like some sand, rubble, etc. But build like this overall kill team board. So, but that is the board here, fully built and ready to go. And then you can see essentially just where I modified the tiles, that all I did was I just trimmed off an inch of the actual tile. And then after I cut off the inch, I cut down that inch that I cut off just so that I had this little ridge, like the little edge of it. And then I just superimposed that over top so that we basically ended up with less of the actual meat, but still like the end bit there. So, so it's pretty simple overall, but obviously you can see the difference in the two sides of it, which normally it would be like a symmetrical 6x6, but this side is missing an inch and then has just like that extra little ridge right on it. So once we put it down on the kill team board, we have our complete setup, which is the 30 inches by 22 inches, our standard kill team board. Alternatively, you could use this also for Warhammer 40k or just regular necromunda. Now, the normal necromunda is played on technically a symmetrical board, as that's what like comes in the Dark Uprising set, but there's no reason you couldn't play it on the kill team size boards. And then alternatively, combat patrol as well is played on this same size kill team board. So you could use this for combat patrol. This specific setup, depending if you were using like vehicles or whatever, might not necessarily be as appropriate. But overall, you know, you could. It'd be a little restrictive towards some movement, especially this specific board. But overall, you could do it. Obviously, it's the correct size and everything. So, but I really like how this came out. It provides adequate cover. It has a second level for like kind of vantage points. Treat anything that is just like the barricade level or like the inch high level just as like light cover. And then obviously like the railings and everything. Anything that is elevated as a vantage point. And then anything that is at least over that inch tall basically as heavy cover instead. So there's quite a bit of heavy cover, a decent amount of light cover where necessary. There's some nice firing lanes, a little bit of elevation. Overall, pretty cool set. Pretty cool setup. I like how it went. I like how it all went together and came out. I like the symmetrical aspect of it, but easily could build some different sets. And overall, um, you know, with the initial setup of the gang stronghold, which again, I didn't use a bunch of the pieces. There's like a big tower that I didn't use. There is a water tower as well as like the sniper perch. There's a big gate that's not in use here. But instead I have used like 6 of the pillar pieces, like the little square pieces or rectangular pieces from Zone Mortalis, like a traditional set or Necromunda traditional set. So essentially I have a combination of those two things. Basically like 3 sprues makes those 6 pillars. And then I have just over 1 full set of the gang strongholds. So depending how you want to value it, you could pretty much get 2 pillars for 20 bucks, roughly. So got about $60 worth of the pillars in here, and then a little over one gang stronghold, and that gang stronghold is like 90 bucks. So it's about a $150 set, full of terrain right here, essentially. And then the 3D printer printing off like these 10 tiles, they take about roughly 3 hours a piece to print. So it's about 60 hours worth of printing because there's 20 of these tiles at about 3 hours a piece. And maybe half a roll, a filament roll, I guess you would call it, which is super cheap. I think I paid $15 or less per roll of filament. So I think it used about half a roll to make all these. So about $7.50 to build the floor tiles instead of what would amounted to me having to modify basically 6 tiles. Yeah, I think it would have been 6 tiles normally I would have had to modify to build these. Well, technically, I think I could have got away with 5 because it would have been like 4 in a square and then one more cut in half. But I mean, like I said, the 4 tiles is going for like $200 right now. So I would have had to buy like 2 sets of tiles, spent more on the actual floor than on the game board. So I'm real happy with how that came out. I really like the textured look of the floor and everything. I'll give it a nice paint job when I have the opportunity, and just kind of build this up over time. But I did want to just, kind of bring it to you as, I've been progressing on it a little bit as the 3D printers finished going burr, and I now have the completed floor set, and the layout and everything has come along nicely. Got some cool firing lines, have adequate cover along the way. There's a couple like big open spots, but you also get like the little barricades to place at the beginning of the Kill Team games. So I think you can kind of fill up some of those areas, especially depending on like which deployment zones you get or missions you get, etc. But overall, very cool setup. Pretty reasonably priced overall for the amount of terrain and like the overall like detail and quality of it. There's still quite a few bits, like little accessories that could be added to it. There's a lot of little accessories that come with the pillar pieces, like the little tanks that go on the sides of them and little like pipe attachments that go onto them. I magnetized a bunch of those on my original set. Not sure if I'll just glue them on or if I'll magnetize them or what I'll do with those, but have a bunch of those that I can still add to it. And then obviously I showed off in the previous one how there's a bunch of little bits that kind of go into the windows that could be either like gun firing points that just have like a little slit, or like mesh bits, a lot less of the mesh ones. And then there's also like a couple of doors that can go in some of the arches as well. So I have quite a few extra little bits from that. And then obviously quite a few bits, or I mean, realistically, quite a few extra pieces from the regular set. So I could alternatively put like the big tower in the middle or like the gunk tank as like the middle point and have like an extra high kind of like vantage point multi-level deal going on. But I kind of like this one. This is a little bit more like the Zone Mortalis style. It has a little bit of elevation, but it's not too crazy either. But we'll see. Maybe I'll do something with those in the future. But just wanted to bring a little update to the board here. Real happy with how it came out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure that you like and subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you have built these in any particular way, have some cool layouts or recommendations for how I could do this differently, or cool setups or anything. Obviously, if you have any trouble finding the STL files, it shouldn't be hard. I got them off Thingiverse, and like I said, you just simple search will find those for you. Didn't want to do a link or anything like that. I don't want to get them taken down or hurt the actual creator or anything. I downloaded these a long time ago. I want to say it was probably almost 2 years ago at this point in time. But I'm sure they're still up there. I'm sure you can still find them. They're usually pretty good about that stuff. Usually if something gets taken down, it's like right back up afterwards. And again, somebody has created these basically from scratch. It was not me. I wish I could take credit for them, but I did not. I simply just trimmed a couple to make it fit the Kill Team board. So if you are the creator, feel free to leave a comment down below and let everybody know so you can get the credit you deserve. But the truth is I have no idea who made them. But they are very awesome. I'm glad they did. They're available for free. And I thank you for your hard work, my friend, whoever you are out there. But that's it for today, guys. Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and we've got our custom Kill Team or Warhammer 40K, or also obviously Necromunda. This is the Zone Mortalis style Killzone, made with the Gang Stronghold and a couple bits from the regular kits as well. So that's it for today, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.